This might be the dumbest deck we ever build on this channel. Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today, if you know anything about the Digimon card game, you probably know about this Tamer's Evolution Box, Rise of Digimon, Bandai product, went up around, I think, March or April, and if you're like me and you ordered one of these, you probably got an email relatively recently saying that this bad boy was going to be shipping this month and you will be getting it soon. So I decided I think I want to try to build a deck using every single one of the cards in this box. And I thought it'd be a fun idea to go through the deck building process in a video instead of just giving you guys a deck profile with the completed video. So I think we're going to start by looking at these cards and figuring out what we actually need to do to make this a functional deck. All right, so what I've gone ahead and done is bring every single one of the cards we're going to be putting in this deck in the deck builder here. And I think a good place to start is what colors we actually need to make this work. So kind of just looking at this as a start, we can discount Medieval Gallimon because we can just slam it down. Same with Death Exmon. Leviamon can be played off of Biting Crush, so I'm not going to worry about keeping purple, especially because purple is kind of a one-off color here. So for our level 6s, we're looking at a lot of yellow cards. So Shadow Seraphimon, Cherubimon, Magna X, and Venusmon are all yellow. And then we have blue for Hexablau, green for Bloomlord. Shoutmon X7 needs red, but it can Evo on a blue level 6 for 4. So technically this can go on top of Hexablau, so we don't actually need to worry about the red for Shoutmon X7. And then we have 2 level 7s here. So as far as the level 6s go, we really just need yellow, green, and blue for Hexablau, Venus, and Bloomlord. For the level 7s, Jesmon GX actually can Evo on top of a level 6 with Royal Knight in traits, so I'm thinking we're going to bank on our ability to Evo on top of Magna X, and then we can also Evo on the red level 6s and the black level 6s, so this can actually go on top of Shadow Seraphimon, we can go on top of Medieval Gallant, and we can go on top of the Shoutmon X7. And then we can actually tuck the Magna X or the Omni Ace, which is kind of swell. That's going to be very helpful. Omni Ace, we can never DNA into this, I don't think, but we can Evo on top of Hexablau and Medieval Gallant and Shoutmon X7. So since this can actually Evo on top of our level 6s, I'm not too worried about the Omni X or the Omnimon happening here either. So really, what we're looking at here is we need a majority yellow level 5 base, and we need to be able to pivot into blue and green to get Bloomlord and Hexablau. I'm also realizing that a lot of these effects are generic, except for Bloomlord and Shoutmon X7. And I think this is going to be a useless card no matter what, because on play we would need to go full Crossheart Core to actually ever slam this down. But Bloomlord's a little bit more straightforward. We need Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy to actually make this do something. On your turn, for every 2 suspended Digimon you have, you get 2k and Sec +1. So technically we don't have to go Fairy Core or Vegetation or Plant, but I think I'm going to because it kind of gives Bloomlord some use. Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to actually check if there's any Vegetation trait Digimon that are yellow, because I think we want to go Yellow Core here. There's not much there. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for Plant. And then for Fairy looks like our strongest pool to play with here. The level 5s are going to have to pivot from just yellow to yellow blue and yellow green. So let's go ahead and start with 3s and 4s. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward with the fairies. There's not actually a whole lot to work with here. If we filter to level 3s that are yellow, that's a vanilla. We have the Floodgate. Sec -1 is decent, and then this one cares about Darulamon and Crossheart, so that's an interesting idea. So let's go ahead and say we're going to go 4 of the Tinkermon. We're going to go ahead and level sort this. I don't actually think this is horrible, this on deletion. Sec -1, it's just kind of a generic effect. We will go 2 on this Cutemon, and we'll go 4 on this Cutemon. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for fairies in the level 4. That one did mention Darulamon. I don't think I care about the Petermon from hand or track without paying some rate cost. We can technically play this off of Cherubimon Ace, but honestly, I don't think banking on one card that allows us to play the Petermon is actually probably worth the card slot. Kazemon's a little bit interesting because we could do like a hybrid push for game, which could be good. But I don't think we need to be married to the fairies in the level 4 slot, because we have enough level 3s that if it comes up, Bloomlord should do something for us if we have level 3s on the board. So I'm gonna say that's okay as it is. The next thing I actually want to do, instead of moving straight to level 4s, is let's go ahead and see what kind of egg we can build with here. A lot of these are going to be security based or DP based, and I think that's not going to work. We could trash to get memory. I think we're just going to lose the game really fast. There's the generic Kyaromons. We have security minus 2k, so this could be really good for aggro. And then if you have another Digimon, draw 1. I think drawing 1... What kind of draw eggs do we have? I kind of want draw because I have a feeling this incredibly clunky pile of cards is not going to get through cards very easily. So I'm leaning towards card draw. This is extremely conditional though, considering our deck be doing what it's doing. So I almost feel like we should just go ahead and take that minus 2k to security for Kyaromon. That's, I think, pretty decent. That's going to allow us to get some damage down, and maybe in a perfect world we'll be able to keep some bodies on the board to actually trigger Bloomlord. And you might think that I'm honing in on the Bloomlord aspect of this really hardcore. Keep in mind that like all of these level 6s kind of just do their thing no matter what, right? Like as long as any of these guys get evoed into, they're going to do something and it's going to be impactful. This is kind of just soup of good cards. So really our limiting factor here is making sure that this guy is functional, and then making sure that we can pivot into Bloomlord and Hexablow. So I am interested in the Darulamons because of the Searcher Cutemon. Places from trash under one of our Tamers. This one is on play minus 3k and save, and then this one can evo into a Jaeger. And I remember this card being cracked. So, and this is yellow green as well, so this is going to work really well as a bridge. So let's go ahead and index into, let's do the Darulamons. Let's go 4 Darulu and 4 Darulu. And then I'm actually thinking that to fill out our level 4s, do I want to fill the level 4s right now? I think I actually want to let's find the blue yellow level 5 pivot. So let's go yellow and blue, and let's hit level 5s here. So Shakamon is interesting. This one's also treated as blue, gives everything with no sources sec -1. If we had a more consistent way to source strip, I'd be really down for this Shakamon. This is DNA from a yellow and blue level 4. Fortunately, this is yellow-green, so that DNA plan is not going to work unless we abandon the Darulamon, and that kind of makes this Cutemon awkward, so I'd like to stick with Darulamon. Magna Angemon is kind of just a dud. We have we have a 3 Great Angel trait, so we can technically search into Ruby and Evo into it, but that is a 1 in something chance. It's not excellent. Beowulf, I think, is dead unless we run hybrids, so that really leaves Daomon, Sagomon, and Polar Bearmon. Daomon returns a 6k or less, which is really generic and honestly not terrible. Sagomon, on play when attacking, give something sec -1. If you Digicross one of your opponent's if this would leave the battle, return a yellow card from its sources to the hand. So this is on attack sec -1 at its worst, and when attacking, one of your Digimon may gain sec -1. I think Polar Bearmon, Iceclad, on play when Digivolving, trash 2 sources and something with no sources. I don't think we have enough source strip for this to be impactful either. So I actually think I want to go with the Daomon here. Let's go ahead and pop 4 Daomon in there. 6k is a little bit rough. This Darulamon does have a DP reduction effect on play, as long as you have a Digimon or Tamer with Crossheart in its traits. This Cutemon has Crossheart in its traits, so actually this isn't terrible if we can play it off of the Cherubi, and then we can DP reduce. Technically it's a 9k target, so let's round out our level 4s, and actually we have Magna X in this deck. So let's go straight to, let's look at Magnamon. What Magnamons do we have in the level 4 slot? We have the BT8 Magna, Blocker Armor Purge, Unsuspend gets 2k for each card with armor form in its traits in your trash. That's a little bit rough if there's nothing in trash already. This one is just on a yellow level 4 for 3 blocker. There's no armor purge on this one, which I don't love. And this plays you a VMon. That's not gonna work the best for us. This one does give minus 2k, which can make the Daomon a little bit more effective. This one can't evo in yellow at all. So I'm gonna lean towards the DP reduction Magnamon. And I think I want to throw in the Kazemons. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I like to do this thing when I deck build where if I'm going to have like 2 and 2 and 2 and whatever, I don't want to do 2, 2, 2 and 4 on my level 4 pool to reach 10 champions. I would rather go a 3, 3, 2, 2 split because I feel like the Darulamons are the most impactful piece and the other two are kind of the tools in my toolbox. And I would rather see my consistency pieces more often. So by going like a 6-4 ratio in my consistency pieces, I feel a little bit better about it. You could probably argue that it's probably just worth going 4 on this Darulamon, but I do like the DP reduction on here, and I don't mind hitting either piece. So I will be opting for the 3-3-2 split. So we do have our level 5 sorted, and we do need Biting Crush for Leviamon. The question is, do we go 1 or 2 copies of Biting Crush? And I'm going to be real, I'm really leaning towards 2 copies of Biting Crush. Because if we see a Biting Crush in security and we don't have Leviamon in hand, we don't get to trash it because Biting Crush activates its main from security. And we want to make sure that we have this go off when we have Leviamon in our hand to pitch away. So I'm going to opt for 2 copies of Biting Crush. Now, we have a lot of really awkward evos here, right? Like this is a 4 cost, this is a 4 cost, this is a 3 cost, this is a 4 cost, which is actually also brutal. And I think that means we're going to be opting into the yellow scramble. There's not a lot of good ways for us to get memory in this deck. There's going to be no memory boost that hits what we need to hit. I think I'm going to start with 3 copies of yellow scramble and go from there. But this is just going to be memory in hand. It's going to help us actually evo for not an absurd rate. So now the question is, how do we fit Tamers in this? I think we need a purple Tamer because we need to be able to use Biting Crush. And we need a way to put Jaeger Darulu underneath things aside from Cupemon. So let's go ahead and look at the Cross Hearts. Is it Cross Heart? Cross... That's a poor choice. Cross Heart. Tamers. Tamer tag. Because I want to see what we have. Let's just go ahead and rock with this Taiki. And we'll go 3Z on that. And then we need a purple Tamer because we need to be able to use our Biting Crush. I just double search for Tamer. Awesome. Honestly, not the worst in the world. It gains us a memory at least, but there's probably cheaper ways to gain memory. This is a mem setter. How much save do we have in our text? So this kind of explicitly says when you would evo into Darulamon, you can suspend this Tamer and place a card from under a Tamer as the bottom source. So that inherit doesn't do anything. This inherit would give us piercing. This guy does not have save, so we can really just tuck something. We can tuck a Darulamon under a Darulamon. That's really what that Tamer says here. Okay, so this says, start of your main phase, tuck a Darulamon to draw 1, gain 1, and then when you would evo into Darulamon, you can suspend this Tamer and place a card from under a Tamer as their bottom card to reduce the cost by 1. So this actually works really, really nicely with the Taiki. So that seems like a pretty good choice to me. I think if we're talking about save core, this works best. And I usually add Tamers and 3s to start and then start cutting things after. The fact that we're only over by 1 card so far is kind of crazy. I do want to see what cards exist with save that are yellow, right? Because if we have save in text and we can get into anything at all, you know, that would be awesome. These are all level 5s that are not multicolor, so that's not going to help us too much. We could evo into this for a normal cost of 2. So the cost reduction isn't really doing us any favors there because we are evoing for a cost of 2. Not the biggest fan of that. Okay, so I'm going to do what I normally do, and I'm going to cut a level 5 to make this work. I think to cut a level 5 to start, I think I want to cut the Daumon because the Jaeger has better synergies with our level 4 pool, right? So we'll go down to 3 on the Daumon. It's really a question of if I want to stick with the Fairy Core or go a different yellow pool, because at the end of the day, I need to bridge into yellow, blue, and yellow, green. You know what I should really do before I commit to this is look at yellow and green on level 5s, because I think Daumon is the best yellow, blue, level 5 for us to roll with. It's the question of what yellow greens there are. This Jaeger Darulu is actually quite good, and he is going to synergize really, really well with the Venusmon, actually. Boutmon, I don't think there's... Yeah, this is too contingent on his... Well, okay, Jaeger Darulumon is also really contingent on running the Darulu core, right? So I can't rule this out because it wants to use Leon and Pulsemon, but... This is a free evo into a level 6, and we don't have a level 6 to evo into, so that's not going to work. This does the same thing as Darulu, but changes the tamers I need to run. Is that the worst? No. But I can get a free evo into the Jaeger, so I think that's better than that Boutmon. We have Chromon. Spend something, you get 3k, and then you may attack. So if I went Chromon, this Digimon gets minus 4k for the turn, huh? As an inherit, do I have any level 6s? I mean, Bloomlord probably would really like that. Minus 4k with the piercing and everything. Telamon CS engine. Telamon CS. If there was a blue-yellow CS card, I'd be more willing to do that. Then Loader Leo, I'm not going Leo Core. This lets us play a green or yellow level 3 from your hand without paying the cost. Hey now, actually though, because then I could play a fairy. I could play the fairy level 3s that we're talking about. And if I can play the fairy level 3s, then Bloomlord is more online than it would be with Hexablow, right? Problem is that this Cutemon has to exist in the deck for fairy level 3s. Unless I abandon that idea entirely, I play this, I alliance, I swing. Where does Bloomlord get me? Suspend something else? But they have to be vegetation plant or fairy. So, I mean, if I play something and then I get to suspend it with Bloomlord, I still get 2k DP and Sec +1. So, maybe the play is to go for the Antilamon, and then I can have suspended bodies that Digivolve, right? Maybe that's the route we go. So let's think about that for a second. If we go Antilamon here, and we then ditch the entire plan, the whole thing just in the bin, right? I think Magna stays. The Darulus, they're gone. And we get green or yellow level 3 Digimon without paying the cost. Okay, and we have Alliance. You can return another suspended Digimon to the hand to play a level 3 with a Beast trait from hand without paying the cost. So realistically, we could swing with Bloomlord with our 2 suspended bodies and then bounce a level 3 with Beast trait from hand without paying the cost. So, I mean, what yellow 3s are there? Cat break! Cat break! Cat break. We do have Lyomon as a beast, which could be fine actually, because we do have the multicolor Magna, so we could get into the Magna for 3, and then if we scramble, it's actually a 2-cost Evo, which is not bad. We can't do that Terrier. There's the Pulsemon. We do have the Lotmons. There's a lot of Renamons, more Lotmons. That one's just as long as you have Mako. On play, suspend a Digimon. Could also actually be pretty good with the Bloom Lord, right? On play, suspend something, and Tila can then maybe alliance over something at 10k, right? And when attacking something gets -2. I actually really like that idea. Let's entertain this thought, this Lopmon core, because I think this is interesting. There's a vanilla Lopmon. If you have a yellow Tamer, something gets sec -1. That could be a really nice control tool too. We were talking about the on-deletion from Tinkermon. Let's throw some Lopmon in there. Let's get rid of this Cutemon. Why? I don't know. I've just decided to remove it. So if we have Lopmon as a beast, Terrier is not yellow, which is the only thing I really don't like, right? We can sacrifice the security to draw one. I guess we don't explicitly have to do the Lopmon maneuver, right? Like, we can do other beast trait Digimon. I know somebody watching this right now is just screaming into their monitor that I'm missing something super obvious. And you know, I probably am. Me and my other... I mean, we can run. I mean, yeah, why not, right? Like, we can do that. That is a legal maneuver, right? Makiko. Let's look at Makiko real fast. Because we are technically not obligated to run the Tagirus anymore in the Taiki. That's a memory gain. Beastkin, Holy Beast Cherub, or CS. Returning this Tamer, play a Lopmon. Yeah, sure. Run it at 4. Why not? Then we'll get like 2 mem setters, and that'll actually be pretty good. So what does Lopmon turn into? There we go. Figured it out, folks. These beastkin are played until your opponent's turn. This is technically a better control piece, isn't it? But I can't play a body with this effect. So I actually like the Sentilamon better. What do we have? We have an alliance. This is whenever we evo into what? Holy Beast, Beastkin, Cherub. This is Beastkin, right? So what kind of Beastkin? What kind of yellow Beastkin? Yellow, level 4, please. Oh, I guess Makiko is going to allow us to actually play the level 3s. So Makiko lets us slap down. Yep, that kind of makes sense. Okay, we'll probably swap that Antilamon in a second here. If you have one or fewer Tamers, you can play a Tamer card with the CS trait from your hand without paying the cost. That might be nice, because then we can play Makiko without paying the cost. Is this a crazy maneuver? Like 3 Gargos and 3 Tarulas? Tarurumon? Which Tarui is better? That gives -2k. That gives -2k. This is on play when Digivolving suspends something. This is Alliance. Am I ever going to raw Alliance this? That's my question. And I really think the answer is probably not, right? Because more often than not, I'm going to play something, suspend something, Digivolve into this, suspend something else, and then go for a Bloom Lord play, right? So I think suspending something might be more valuable. So let's play under that assumption, right? We got 3, 3, 2, 2. Do I still need Kaze? Do I feel like I need Kaze? I don't. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say no. I don't need that. And then let's revisit this Antilamon conversation. And let's go... Where was it? Where's the CS Antila? So we do Makiko. We play a Lopmon. That plays something. Then they can't use when Digivolving effects. Till the end of your opponent's turn. I mean, that's what we like, right? Let's do that. All right. And now we want a mem setter. Oh, we need something purple though. Is there a purple CS Tamer that's a mem setter? Tamer? Purple? Jimmy can. Any of them have the CS trait, activate a main effect. Hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second though, guys. Oh, it's your turn. Damn it. I thought that this was main. Wouldn't that have been crazy, right? Because now in like a perfect world, there's a lot of shenanigans that can go on here. I don't know if this Kiaramon is still the best choice. Actually, because we should be attacking, I think we definitely want the draw power Kiaramon now. Let's do that. Because I think that is the correct choice. That's the token puppet Kiaramon. You know what? We're gonna cross that bridge when we come to it. Level Sword. That guy. Okay. I think all we need here is a good purple Tamer. And we still have the same issue we had before, where none of these are explicitly, like, good. They're all kind of bad, actually, for this deck. Do I just run? I mean, okay, here's the thing. Violet's not going to do anything. Violet's not doing anything. Our other purple Mem Setter options are not going to do anything. We're going to run Jimmy Ken, because we can play Jimmy Ken for free. Call me crazy. We went up in rookies, didn't we? Let's drop one of these. Now, there's no DP reduction, which I don't love. Is Wendigomon a Beastkin? He is, but he's not yellow. Of course, he's purple. Why would I think otherwise? Dalmon just does not feel right. In my heart of hearts, it doesn't feel right. And that's what I'm struggling with right now. But I think this might be as good as we're going to get, is the thing. Really funny. I mean, there's a minus 4k on Antila, and then, like, we're playing bodies. We have a minus 4k on the Antila and Herod. So if we get into a level 6 with Antila underneath, and we go into the other body, the level 3 with Teruimon, and then we suspend something, we give minus 4k with the Antila, and then we can evo into Dao. This seems somewhat reasonable, and then if we even attack with the level 6, Lopmon's going to get minus 2k as well. So the Dao is still effective here, in my mind. So let's run through the strategy here. I think I'm pretty happy. Well, we're going to test this deck at some point, right? But I think, tentatively, I'm happy with our card selection. So let's run through it, kind of like a deck profile, but not really. And let's talk about it, okay? So for our egg, 4 copies of the ST19 Kiaramon, just a draw egg, right? We have the 4 copies of EX6 Lopmon on play, suspend something, going to synergize really nicely with our ability to make Bloom Lord go burr. Minus 2k and Herod's going to synergize with the Dalmon. 2 copies of the promo Lopmon, because it is a beast, it's playable. I guess I don't technically need this Lopmon anymore because we have the Makiko that is just playing any Lopmon, but I still think of the Lopmons available, this is probably the best one. So we're going to keep this one. Security -1, not a bad defensive tool. 4 of the BT23 Lopmon, Warp Sand to Antila. I do like that. All turns, we've got the minus 2k inherit when something suspends. That's going to be a nice effect. 2 copies of the Magna so that we can go into Magna X for the cheap. We have Blocker, Armor Purge. It has a minus 2k effect. Synergizes with the Dalmon as long as we can get an Armor Form card in the trash. We've got 4 copies of the Gargomon that is going to let us play our CS Tamers. That's going to be Makiko and Jimmy Ken. And then we have a 1k DP boost, so not bad there. 4 copies of the Teruimon from EX6 that suspends something. That's going to work well with our DP reduction inherits that function when something is suspended, and then also has a DP reduction inherit, so nice consistency there. 3 copies of the Dalmon, best blue-yellow level 5 bridge that we have available. Bounces a 6k, but also we're kind of treating that more as a 10k range because the 4k and the minus 2ks are really easy to stack up. This might also wind up bouncing 12ks in some situations, which is kind of nice. Inherit here is going to give minus 2k when we scramble as well, so that's cool to think about. We could potentially be dishing out, I think, 10k maximum on DP reduction. 4 of the BT23 Antila has Alliance, and then when we play something with Beastkin, Beast, or CS, something can't activate when Digivolving. That's going to be really nice with the Makiko that is playing us out Lopmons, and then the Inherit here is the minus 4k. That's what's synergizing with the Dalmon, as long as we can make it into a level 5 on the extra body. Shadow Serafi is blast acing on any of our yellow level 5, so that's a check mark. Hexablow goes on top of the Dalmon. Nice control piece. Bloom Lord is synergizing with the entire bottom end of our deck. Medieval Gallant can be played and also synergizes really nicely with the Antilamon playing out extra bodies with Makiko. Cherubi Ace actually synergizes perfectly. Leviamon off the Biting Crush that is playable due to Jimmy Ken. Shoutmon X7 exists solely to go on top of Hexablow, and there's a really swaggy line where we could go like Hexablow into Shoutmon X7, into Omnimon, or into Jesmon GX tucking Omni Ace. Or we could go Magna X into the same line, and you wind up with like 4 gold cards stacked on top of each other. That's kind of cool. So that exists, right? Venusmon, good control tool, actually synergizes really well with the Antilamon as well, buys us time to actually get that second level 3 that we play up into another level 5 with all those DP reduction effects, so I actually really like that too. Magna X is obviously Magna X, we want to warp it on top of Magnamon or be in a stack with Magnamon. Death X can be just slapped down. Jesmon GX goes on top of Shadow Seraphimon or Shoutmon X7 or Magna X and or Medieval Gallant and then can tuck any of the Royal Knights, so that's awesome. Omni Ace goes on top of any of our red or blue level 6s, doesn't do a whole lot after that. Fighting Crush, we're at 2x to make sure it's not a dead card in security, and we're using it to play out the Levia. 3 yellow scrambles because we need the memory for all of our awkward 4-cost Evos. Jimmy Ken is our memory setter, not because he does anything, but because we can play him for free, and the mandatory 4 copies of Makiko Date going to gain us memory and then let us play our lot mobs whenever we go into a level 4 or 5 that is going to be Beastkin or Holy Beast. So, I think that's it for this deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you want a video of us testing this deck on DCGO. I'd be willing to do it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Thank you to our channel members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, Coffee Deus, and DigiDane who make videos like this possible.